It's 10 past the hour. The latest government numbers on the economy confirm what Wall Street has been feeling all along. A slowdown is in progress. The gross domestic product, key indicator of the economic health, grew at an annual rate of just 1% in the final quarter of last year. As CBS's Jim Axelrod reports, where the economy is headed next is still anybody's guess.
With inventory stacking up and orders slowing down, Delphi, the world's #1 auto parts supplier, is cutting jobs. 11,500 of them. You don't have to be an oracle to explain Delphi.
The U.S. economy is barely growing. It was barely growing at the end of last year, and is barely growing right now.
The gross domestic product, the broadest measure of the economy, is now at its lowest point in 5.5 years.
Fire still around?
At the same time, the markets are chewing up Americans' wealth. The Nasdaq's down 63% from last March. The Dow off 10% this year alone. Doom and gloom is easy enough to forecast, but Merrill Lynch's Bruce Steinberg warns, don't get caught in a bear trap.
The old rule was that the stock market's predicted 9 of the last 5 recessions, and it's still like that. Market's a lot more volatile than the economy at the end of the day.
Meaning there is a difference between the loss of portfolio values and the loss of paychecks. The fact is, the U.S. economy is still churning out 100,000 new jobs a month. What's more, wages are growing at 6% a year.
It's the mood of the nation that is in trouble, not the domestic economy. Our economy is in great shape.
Most economists are saying the downturn will last months, not years, and that quarter after quarter of red-hot growth may have obscured a basic economic fact about cool-downs. They're normal.
The U.S. economy remains a really vibrant, productive economy, and it's going through this slow patch right now. I think next year will probably be a very strong year for growth.
Many observers say the key to a jump start will be further rate cuts by the Fed. Expect 1, maybe 2 more before the end of June to get the engine going again by fall. Jim Axelrod, CBS News, New York.
In an effort to protect domestic livestock, the Agriculture Department is stepping up security at U.S. airports. It's adding 60 more dogs trained to sniff out food products brought in from other countries that could be infected with foot and mouth disease. Travelers arriving in the U.S. are supposed to disclose whether they have visited farmlands abroad.
This disease is not a threat to human health, but as you point out, it can be spread by humans on the clothes, on the shoes, etc. So we are asking that the traveling public be very careful if they've been in an area where infection has occurred, that they not expose our areas that have high densities of livestock.
More than 750 sites in Great Britain have been infected. The disease has also spread to mainland Europe and South America. Actress and fitness celebrity Suzanne Somers has breast cancer. The 54-year-old Somers had part of her breast removed after a mammogram revealed a tumor last year. Somers, who advertises fitness equipment, says she also had liposuction because she said she felt disfigured by the cancer's effects. She also says she's ignoring her doctor's advice about chemotherapy and instead is undergoing a homeopathic treatment derived from mistletoe. The actress's decision to forego standard chemotherapy in favor of alternative medicine is raising some concern in the medical community. Dr. Bernadine Healy, president of the American Red Cross, says Somers is setting the wrong example.
She is a health and fitness guru, and she is a well-liked, beloved celebrity. So when she comes out and she speaks to women of America who may have also faced this diagnosis recently, she has a likelihood of leading them down the wrong path, even though she doesn't intend to.
On another medical science front, it's now clear that DNA evidence can clear the innocent, but DNA evidence can also help find the guilty, even in long unsolved crimes. CBS's White Andrews has the facts on this for tonight's Eye on America.
It was a secret I carried around with me everywhere.
Every day for 18 years, Linda Mitchell was haunted by the memory of the man who'd covered her face with a pillow and raped her, an unsolved crime. She had everyone to suspect and no one to blame.
I'd be stopped at a stoplight, and I would think, that person across from me could be the man who raped me.
Nearly 2 decades later, her case became part of a revolution in law enforcement. Scientists at the Virginia State Crime Lab matched DNA preserved from the crime scene to an inmate in their DNA databank. It turned a cold case into what's called a cold hit.
In a way, it was a public acknowledgement that this had really happened to me.
Many states have DNA databanks, but this year, Virginia hit the crime-solving jackpot. After 11 years, the sheer size of its database produces one cold hit every day. And almost every cold hit means an arrest and conviction in an unsolved violent crime.
It's enabling us to solve cases.
Last year, Charlottesville Police Lieutenant Chip Harding had exhausted all leads in the case of a serial rapist that had terrorized the city.
This assailant, this predator, was attacking in broad daylight.
Then, last summer, DNA linked 3 of those crimes to one man, Shannon Malnowski. He's pleaded not guilty, but after his arrest, the daylight attacks stopped.
You drink from your coffee cup, leave it there, we've got you. If you're casing a house, smoking cigarettes, throwing it on the ground, we're going to identify who you are.
Is this a case where you've been able to make an arrest where the computer saw this suspect, where the eyewitnesses didn't?
Computer saw the suspect, the eyewitnesses didn't.
This technology is revolutionizing the way police investigators are approaching crime scene investigation.
Maybe so, but the DNA revolution hasn't arrived in most states, and to Virginia's forensic chief Paul Ferrara, that's an outrage.
There are literally hundreds of thousands of unworked cases sitting in rooms like this.
Which means that thousands of pieces of evidence and more than 1 million felons nationwide have not been entered in any state database.
I'm sitting here knowing that if they ran all those convicted felons, and if they ran all that crime scene material, they'd be solving tens, hundreds of thousands of crimes.
Crimes just like the one that victimized Linda Mitchell.
Every one of those evidence kits or boxes is a person's life, people's lives that are in limbo.
Today, she is the Reverend Mitchell, a rural Lutheran minister, and a believer in the power of DNA to give crime victims a sense of finality. In Richmond, Virginia, Wyatt Andrews for Eye on America.
Much has been made lately about mapping the human genome, but as part of a Save the Panda project in China, scientists there are checking out the gene pool for their beloved and shrinking panda population. Louise Bates of the Associated Press reports.
Tracing family trees is not just for people who want to find out more about their past. For captive pandas at Chengdu Panda Breeding Center, it could help the endangered animals find suitable partners. Inbreeding is one reason for the degeneration of the species, which is why scientists have come up with a faster way to map out a panda's genetic code. A saliva sample is all that's needed to provide a detailed analysis of the animal's genetic history. Parents can then be traced to prevent further inbreeding. This researcher says the program will be invaluable for breeding the animals in captivity. He says over 30 pandas in this center alone have found their fathers through the new system. Experts here hope to have gene maps for 90 pandas by this time next year.
That was Louise Bates of the Associated Press. Still ahead, the newest additions in the world of high tech and the latest survivor to get kicked out of the tribe. This is CBS News Up to the Minute.
I'm always hearing about pain relievers that'll fight my headache. But who's got time to waste fighting a headache? With my life, I need it gone. So I take Excedrin. It's got 2 pain relievers, plus this enhancing ingredient, so it kind of gangs up on my headache. No wonder it works better than Tylenol. With Excedrin, I can spend my time getting things done, instead of wasting my time fighting a headache.
Excedrin, the headache medicine.
These things are always difficult.
I understand.
Because of the merger, we now have 2 of everything, including 2 CIOs, you and Phil. You know I only need one guy.
I understand.
Yet we still have the hairiest integration project ever. Servers, storage, databases. It needs the right guy.
I understand.
You're the guy.
I'm the guy.
And that's when it hits you. You are so ready for IBM.
What about Phil?
Oh, he volunteered for some job in Paris.
Paris?
There is a rhythm to life. We sleep at night and wake in the morning. It's this sleep cycle that helps keep us in a healthy balance. But for millions of Americans, sleep doesn't always come easy. Fortunately, there's Ambien. Ambien is a prescription sleep aid that can help you get a full night's sleep. With Ambien, you fall asleep fast, stay asleep longer, and generally wake without feeling groggy the next morning. No wonder Ambien is the #1 prescribed sleep aid in America. Until you know how Ambien will affect you, you shouldn't drive or operate machinery. Side effects may include drowsiness, dizziness, and diarrhea. You shouldn't take it with alcohol. Patients who abuse prescription sleep aids may become dependent. Prescription sleep aids are most often taken for 7 to 10 days as needed. Your doctor will advise you about taking them longer. Take Ambien only when you can devote a full night to sleep and wake up rested and ready to start your day. Talk to your doctor about Ambien. Ambien works like a dream.
Did the Boy Scouts lose more than they gained when the Supreme Court gave them the right to keep gays out of scouting? 60 Minutes, Sunday.
Want to keep an eye on your money? Now there are 3 great places to get the best in financial news: on CBS Television, CBS Radio, and on the web at cbs.marketwatch.com. Follow your portfolio, and when you're ready, trades are just a click away. CBS News, your eye on the market. Escaping the rat race. Could his idea work for you? Tonight on the CBS Evening News.
Welcome back. It's now 21 past the hour. Top stories on Up to the Minute. All 18 people on board died when a private jet crashed into a hillside near Aspen, Colorado. The jet was on approach to an Aspen airport when it went down. No word on whether light snow and mist in the area may have contributed to the crash. The Senate will vote Monday on the campaign finance reform bill. Senators voted yesterday to preserve the ban on soft money, even if the Supreme Court rules against other key parts of the bill. Israel says it may send troops into Palestinian areas to pursue militants. If you think using your computer can give you a real headache, Microsoft has a solution for you. Just take a tablet and email them in the morning. Renee San Miguel of CBS Market Watch explains in this morning's report on the net.
It looks like an Etch-a-Sketch on steroids, but tablet PCs promise the most natural way yet for you to work with a computer. At least Microsoft's Bill Gates thinks so. He's been talking tablets since last spring, but this week he announced that Compaq will actually make the device. Transmeta will provide low battery power computer chips, and Microsoft's forthcoming Windows XP will be the operating system. Tablet PCs will get you on the web for downloading electronic books, but the big draw? You use a pen to enter and edit data. No more cramped notebook computer keyboards.
It's revolutionary because of your ability to take it in your hands, sit there and read and annotate, take notes, things that were not possible before.
You've got to think that Microsoft has perfected pen input, that it, from a tactile standpoint, a sense and a touch and a feel, it feels very good now. And they're going to come out with something that's really going to wow us with the pen input. That's really the only difference between it and a notebook.
Tablet PCs are expected next year, no price yet. Well, with apologies to Steely Dan, you can go back to your old school. The internet offers the best way yet. Classmates.com says it has the largest high school database with 15 million members and 600,000 names of military personnel. Registration is free, but access to full services costs $29.50 a year. Related websites, highschoolalumni.com, Alumni Connection, and eClassReunion.com. Well, here are the .coms that gained the most audience last week. Lowest Bids is an auction site, ShareBuilder is an online investment site, and new handhelds from Palm Computing drove traffic to that site. I'm Renee San Miguel, CBSMarketWatch.com on the net.
And here's your up-to-the-minute forecast. It's going to be a rainy Friday in much of the Northeast. A huge storm will soak the coast with as much as 3 inches of rain. Some snow in interior New England. Elsewhere, snow and rain in the far northwest. Some showers in the northern plains. Sunny in the southwest. High temperatures today will be in the 30s and 40s across New England and the northern states. 50s and 60s from the northwest across to the Carolinas. 70s and 80s in the southwest and southeast with some 90s in the desert southwest. And now let's take a look at your sports scores.
When you participate in the March of Dimes Walk America, you really are a hero. Because you're helping to give babies who were premature a fighting chance. Unready to meet the world, many of these babies have to struggle just to survive. But they're not alone, because the March of Dimes is there to help them win their fight. And you can help too. So join Walk America and remember, you're a hero when you walk to save babies.
Breast cancer doesn't just affect women. This year, over 40,000 women will die. The Breast Cancer Research Foundation has given over $20 million in research grants. Please, help us make a difference. Call now, 1-866-FIND-A-CURE.
So, whose influence are you under?
You may not believe anyone would just walk away from somebody desperately in need of help. But if you're ignoring a friend's drug problem, you're doing the same thing. Don't walk away.
It's Friday morning, Survivor fans. Time to talk about the latest member to get kicked out of the Outback. Last night's episode was sort of a manic, depressive one for one of the castaways. She won the reward challenge, getting to spend the day snorkeling in the Barrier Reef. But then, at Tribal Council...
5 votes, Jerry. That's enough. You need to bring me your torch.
Yes, a good day ends badly for Jerry. The 30-year-old bartender and wannabe actress was sent packing back to L.A. And if the scenes for next week's show are any indication, the tribe didn't shed too many tears about it. Sonia Christopher didn't last quite as long on Survivor Island as Jerry did in the Outback, but she was there long enough to learn some lessons. Thoughts she shared with CBS's Manuel Gallegos.
The tribe has spoken. You're the first one voted off.
Yep, Sonia Christopher and her ukulele were the first ones thrown off Survivor, even though Richard seemed to like her music.
Sun is shining, no more whining.
Sonia is truly nice, but in this show, nice guys seem to finish last.
I probably was Pollyannish about it. I so much wanted it to be about a Robinson Crusoe survival experience.
Sonia is the only one of the original survivors we've talked with who says she would not do it again. The new show is just a little too slick for her, especially the players.
They obviously are the kind of people who want to play a game, who are willing to be devious to do it.
Like Jerry.
5 votes, Jerry. That's enough.
Even though everyone in America was happy to see her get voted off, in real life she may be all right.
I wonder how Jerry deals with this. This is one thing that people probably forget, is that these survivors are real people. They're not characters that appear on soap operas.
See, she really is nice. As for her life now,
it has been a marvelous journey. It's opened doors you never thought would be opened. Where the Toggies, Pagongs, and the Rattans once got to live.
Not bad.
That was bad.
Very good. I love it.
You guys put me on the spot.
one door that opened for Sonia is something she really believes in. She is now a spokesperson for breast cancer awareness. She is a breast cancer survivor. Manuel Gallegos, CBS News, Hollywood.
And we thank you for surviving this half hour with us. This is CBS News Up to the Minute.
For news 24 hours a day, CBS.com on the internet and on our interactive partner, America Online, at keyword CBS News.
Experience you can trust. CBS News.
morning, everyone. It's Friday, March 30th. From CBS News in New York, I'm Melissa McDermott. Here's what's happening. A chartered luxury jet from Burbank, California has crashed near Aspen, Colorado, killing all 18 people on board. Federal Aviation Administration officials say there was no distress call from the pilot. The Gulfstream jet slammed into a hillside just short of the runway. No word yet on the identifications of those on board. There was light snow and mist at the time of the crash. Other news now. The U.S. Senate has set Monday for a vote on the campaign finance reform bill offered by Arizona's John McCain and Wisconsin's Russell Feingold. Bob Schieffer reports.
Senate reformers beat back the last real challenge to campaign finance reform legislation last night and cleared the way to send the bill to the House.
I think that addressing...
Opponents tried to insert what they called a non-severability clause in the legislation, which would have nullified the entire bill if the courts found any one of its provisions unconstitutional. Reformers call that a killer.
My friend John McCain knows how to put things very straight. He has said that non-severability is French for kill campaign finance reform. And I think he's right.
So did a majority of senators who killed the killer by a 57-43 vote. The core of the bill, senators put final touches on outlaws soft money, those unlimited backdoor contributions. It raises the amount that can be given directly to candidates from $1,000 to $2,000 and bans issue ads by unions, corporations, and private groups 60 days before elections. Reform opponents took the loss hard.
This is a stunningly stupid thing to do, my colleagues. And don't think there's anybody out there to save us from this. I'm not going to embarrass anybody, but I had a lot of frantic discussions over the course of the last 2 weeks with my friends on the other side of the aisle, hoping somebody, somewhere, somehow, was going to keep this from happening. There's nobody to come to the rescue. This train is moving down the track.
The maverick Republican who has led this fight from the beginning was happy, but knows it's not over yet.
We are confident that we have a significant number of Republicans and Democrats in the House of Representatives that would like to move forward with this legislation. So we look forward to it, but we don't think it's going to be a day at the beach.
And he's sure right about that. One of the House Republican leaders, Tom DeLay, has launched an extraordinary attack on McCain himself, has accused him of being a hypocrite, and says he will do whatever it takes to kill this legislation. Bob Schieffer, CBS News at the Capitol.
German Chancellor Gerhard Schroeder says he and President Bush agree on practically everything except the international treaty to fight global warming. The two leaders met a day after the administration said President Bush opposes the pact aimed at reducing greenhouse gas emissions worldwide. President Bush says American jobs come first.
Our economy is slowed down in our country. We also have an energy crisis. And the idea of placing caps on CO2 does not make economic sense for America. And while I worry about emissions, and we'll work together to achieve efficiencies through new technologies, and I'm confident we can do that, I'm also worried about the fact that people may not be finding jobs in America. And I consult with our friends. We will work together. But it's going to be in what's in the interest of our country, first and foremost.
The United States is the world's biggest producer of carbon dioxide emissions. France described the president's decision not to implement the treaty as scandalous. Mark Phillips reports.
Around the world, the anger runs as deep as the floodwaters being blamed on the global warming the Kyoto Treaty was supposed to fight. President Bush says he's putting American economic interests first in rejecting Kyoto, and in Britain, where they're having their wettest winter ever, they sadly agree.
This short-termism and this isolationism is profoundly flawed and misplaced.
And that was the polite response. Others point to severe weather conditions around the planet, flooding for the second consecutive year in Mozambique, drought and famine in the Sudan. And they say the U.S. is substantially to blame. With only about 4% of the world's population, the United States famously produces about 25% of the world's harmful greenhouse gas pollution.
What we're seeing here is oil man Bush putting the interests of his particular backers, Exxon Oil Corporation and other fossil fuel producers, over and above the interests of the US economy, over and above the interests of the people of the world at large, and over and above the future of the planet.
In Japan, the injury is compounded by insult. The rejection of the Kyoto Treaty is being taken personally by a country that had hosted the conference that created it. It's a sentiment echoed around the world. Kyoto may have been an imperfect treaty, but in an imperfect world, it was the only global warming treaty we had.
If the United States walked away from the Kyoto Protocol, that would be the end of the Kyoto Protocol.
Along with the shock and anger being expressed around the world, there is also a great sense of frustration. The European Union is sending a high-level delegation to Washington next week to try to get President Bush to change his mind. But if he doesn't, there's nothing they can do about it. Mark Phillips, CBS News, London.
One of the FBI's most wanted fugitives has been taken into custody. James Kopp was arrested in France. He's accused of killing a Buffalo area abortion provider in a 1998 sniper attack. Kopp is also wanted in Canada for shooting an Ontario doctor. Kimberly Dozier reports.
One of the FBI's 10 most wanted, on the run for nearly 2 years, James Kopp has finally been caught in France.
The Justice Department is bringing the formal extradition process, is beginning that formal extradition process with France at this time.
He's wanted for the 1998 murder of abortion provider Dr. Barnett Slepian. Dr. Slepian ran a prominent abortion clinic in Buffalo, New York, when he was shot and killed by a sniper at his home. The doctor is remembered as an outspoken advocate for a woman's right to choose abortion. He was a frequent